You know, one of the most underrated books that I've seen in a while that everybody should be reading. Invaders. I don't know if you're reading this, but you should be. Chip Zdarsky is killing it. It's fantastic. So let's dive in. All right, so Invaders, number 9, written by Chip Zdarsky, and Carlos Magno and Butch Goose or Juice. I'm probably butchering that name because I butcher almost all names. Are doing the arts on this, and this is a fantastic story. So, a little backstory. Since we're at issue 9, Namor is kind of going crazy, and Namor is starting to launch some attacks on the civilized world. And the major attack, what he's doing, is actually created something called the Genius Solution. And what it's doing is actually changing humans into the Genius formula. And what it's actually doing is changing humans into Atlanteans and allowing them to breathe underwater. And then he caused a huge tidal wave that crashed over the city to actually keep the people alive, after he changed them. So, he wants to control the whole world. He wants to protect everybody. He's kind of got weird something going on in his head. Now, what we figured out is Xavier did something to him back a while before to try to help him cope with his anger and his retaliation and what happened to him during World War II, kind of a PTSD type thing. I'm not sure exactly. He wants to protect everything, and he's angry at the world for not, for destroying the very things he fought so hard to protect, and all the people that died. And so he's very angry. And so Xavier did this mental thing to try to help him, but it's causing the issues that we're seeing now. So he is down and he has a plan, and he has this assistant guy that he keeps seeing in his mind, but nobody else seems to see him. And they're talking about Roxxon. Now, Roxxon apparently has decided to use the formula that was that they found or was given, and they changed people. Or here's what happened. The formula that was used on people, Roxxon is now hired to work in drilling oil wells and things of that sort, and that's really ticked off Namor. So Namor said, "Let's just go attack," and this thing in his head kept saying, "No, don't do that." And Namor's like, "I am the king. It's my plan. We will do what I want to do. The plan's still going, but we're going to make Roxxon pay." So he heads out with his team to destroy this rig, this oil rig, etc., out in whatever ocean he's in. Now we flip back to the past, back to 1942, and the invaders are there on the Western Front in Germany, and they're fighting, and we actually get introduced to a new character called Spitfire. Blonde in a yellow outfit that seems to be running really fast, and she has some words with Namor because he almost hits her with a tank that he throws, and she's like, "Hey, I am here protecting people. That's the whole goal. That's what we were brought here to do. That's what we're supposed to be doing." And she calls him an egomaniacal fool. Calls him a fool. Now, not a lot of people get to talk to Namor that way. She did. And then we flip back to the present, and the team is there talking to her, and she's like, "Hey, something's going on in this trench. The Roxxon's there. I think we're having a fight. There's something going on there." So they all head out to the oil well, and Namor's there, and he's like, "Destroy the oil well, destroy the ability for them to profit off their greed, etc." And then we see one of the dudes, Tiger Shark, actually bites a dude. And Namor's like, "Hey, I didn't give anybody orders to kill anybody." And then this figment in his mind, this blue guy that only he can see, says, No, you ordered everybody to kill them. You just must not remember." And Namor's like, "No, I don't. I think I would have remembered. No, you must have forgotten." Now, again, the saying in his head is going on, and we don't know exactly what it is yet. But then Captain America shows up, Spitfire shows up, Toro, and his little assistant, I can't remember his assistant's name, but they all show up, right? And there's a great shot here. They're all flying through the air, and Captain America's got a shield, and he actually takes it across the face of Tiger Shark, and you just see it, just fantastic. So, and then Orca, this big dude, looks like he's in a Orca costume. It's kind of weird, but he takes on Spitfire. Spitfire, like, "Hey, no problem. I haven't punched a well in a while." All right, so they're fighting, and then Toro starts fighting Namor out over the water. And then we see Tommy Toro so Namor shoots water, and he actually starts to extinguish Toro. And then Tommy Toro's flying around. He's like, "Oh, you were always annoying." And he starts shooting water over him, and the guy flies past and punches Namor. And then Namor ends up shooting water at him and grabbing him. Now, apparently, Namor can control water. I didn't realize he could do that, but here he can. So something happened, or something I missed, but he can control water, and he was able to hit Tommy Toro, and he was able to wrap him up. And he goes, "You know what? I put this spear through your robot father's head, or through his neck. And maybe this time I'll put it through his head." Woo! Go Namor. So Toro flies up and he sees that Tommy Toro is in a headlock by Namor, and he's like, "Listen, Namor, there's something wrong." He goes, "I want to kill you to get this to stop. Namor, I want to kill you to end this cycle of pain and the lost lives." Can you imagine? I mean, these guys have been buddies since World War II. They've known each other for years. He's like, "I'm willing. I need to kill you to get you to stop whatever's going on. Xavier did something to your head. It's messing you up." Now, the art in here is fantastic. You can see the expressions on the faces. It is very dynamic. So they do a really good job there. And it was also cool because the current art and the past art or the story happening in the past are different. So you can actually see the times jumps, and that's a really good thing. I like how they did that. So Namor's like, "No, nothing. Everything's fine." And he calls a retreat, and he flies into the water, and he goes away. Right? But then he ends up in this trench, and this dude called Roman shows up, right? And he's like, "Wait a minute, how did you find me?" He goes, "Oh, you told me to meet you here after the raid." And Namor's like, I don't remember anything on the set." And then he grabs his head, right? He's got the serpent crown on. He grabs his head, and then we flip into his brain. And he is looking like he did back in 1942. And he's saying, "Hey, listen, remember me? I am the dude that..." And you can see it because now he's no longer Atlantean. This figment imagination of his is no more Atlantean. He's not blue anymore, right? He's a guy he knew from World War II. A guy that Xavier put into his head that was an image of his buddy that would allow him to deal with his anger and his pain and his rage and maybe help calm him down a little bit by remembering something. But it had the opposite effect. It was just a constant reminder to Namor of all the things that went wrong and all those bad things. And he goes, "What I am in you, Namor. I am your righteous anger. I am you with a plan. I slowly turn myself from a memory into myself." And so now we have the Romans there. And he's like, "Hey, this was all part of the plan, my king." And Namor's like, "No, don't do that. Don't do it. And he's reaching out to stop it. And all of a sudden, we flip back outside of Namor's brain, and he's like locked, like stun locked. He can't move. And Roman there grabs the serpent crown off his head, and his eyes open up, and you look, and it's like the memory, this figment of Namor's imagination has now transferred itself into Roman, and he ripped the serpent crown off Namor's head, and he runs away with it. It's like, oh boogers. Now, the righteous anger of Namor is now loose, and Namor is no longer there to control it, no longer to hold it back. So I don't know what's going to happen now. And then we flip over. Captain America is talking to Black Panther, and Bucky shows up and is like, "Man, we've got to do something. We have to take the fight to Namor. Everything else we've tried, it hasn't worked. We've got to, as a team, get down there." Because, he's underwater. All they got to do is knock the breather off, and they're gone. So how do they combat that? Then we see Roxanne, and we see the conversation about using the genius serum. So basically, they want to turn themselves into Atlantean, or being able to breathe water. And we see Captain America and Bucky, and they're getting ready to drop into the tubes. They've got the breathing mask on, and they fall into the tubes, and they both start to convulse a little bit, and then they rip the mask off, and they're blue. Look at that blue in the tube, man. And T'Challa's there, and they're like, "Man, it's about time to go." So I don't know what's going to happen in the next issue, but it looks like Bucky and Captain America have now turned themselves into water breathers to go down and battle Namor down in Atlantis. This is going to be fantastic. I tell you what, Chip Zdarsky has been killing it. The two artists on this, Magno and Goose, have been doing just a great job with the art, flipping back and forth between what's currently happening and what's happening in the past. It's a very clear delineation between the two. Chip Zdarsky has been writing Namor pretty spot on, and Captain America and Bucky, and all this flashing back to these historical moments where they were the invaders back in World War II to now, and what's going on in his head, and all these things. It's just a fantastic story. We're 9 issues in, and I have no idea what's going to happen next, but it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be great because now we have all these different plot threads running out there. Great issue, definitely a recommend. If you like this review, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you here next time in the Long Box.